Welcome to Esoteric Detective, the home of the strange and unusual.
Hi everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your feedback. It would really seem that probably about half of you wanted me to use my own voice, so that's what I'm going to do anyway. I might bring the computer voice out again in the future just for smaller videos, but until now I'll just go forward with my own voice. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Anyway, thank you all for your feedback, it was much appreciated. As for today, I just want to go on and continue work as usual. I want to bring you something very interesting today that I found while I was researching the Apollo missions by NASA and the moon landings, and 3 examples of high anomalies that I found. The first 2 have to do with the temperature of the moon itself, and something that most people don't know is that the temperature of the moon is actually 253 degrees Fahrenheit in the sunlight, or 123 degrees centigrade. So it's a really high temperature, and most people always think that the moon is cold, which it is when it's not in sunlight, but most of the time when it's in sunlight, it's at a really high temperature. So to put this into perspective of why this translates to various anomalies I found, I just want to bring to your attention a few examples. First 2 have to do with the temperature on the moon, and yeah, let's take a look at one. This first example is of a photograph that was placed on the moon by Charles Duke on the 23rd of April 1972, an astronaut for NASA on the Apollo missions. As you can see, he placed a photograph of his family on the moon itself, and then took another photograph of it. It's worth pointing out that when he took this photograph, he had to carry this with him from the lunar module. It might have been protected in some kind of sleeve or not, but he would have had to put this photograph down on the ground, place it, prepare the camera, and then take a photograph of the photograph on the moon. But look at it, it's in a plastic sleeve, it's thin plastic, clear plastic, and it's a basic photograph of his family. So why isn't the photograph all warped and distorted? Anyway, I thought that that was an interesting example, that the objects placed on the moon don't necessarily display the characteristics you'd expect for something stressed under a high heat environment. This photograph is of Neil Armstrong's footprint on the moon. It's famous, it's been on a number of covers, it's been around the world. But to make a footprint, trackers know, those experienced in tracking know that there has to be moisture. Okay, so when you're in a location such as the beach, for example, now you take the middle of the beach in a very hot day and you try to put your foot in the sand, with your shoes on. Of course, what happens is when you take your foot away, the markers of the footprint collapse, okay, and there's not any detail whatsoever. Now, for instance, you go down to the sea, just beside the ocean, and you put your foot in the sand, and you take your foot away, of course you get a footprint because there's moisture in the environment, and that enables the structure of the material to capture the actual imprint of the boot. Now on the moon here, in this example, we have a perfect footprint in an environment that has a temperature of 250 degrees Fahrenheit or 123 degrees centigrade. A very hot environment, but it seems like a moisture-ridden footprint. Now if you want to follow work up on this, you can look into the work of trackers, people of that nature who track for a living, and see if there's any way you can find a footprint in an environment with absolutely no dampness or moisture. I'm talking about a desert, even if the particles are really fine. Think of very fine particles such as a bag of concrete mix, okay? If you pour that on the ground, and you put your foot in there and pull it out, all you're going to get is a cloud of dust. It's not going to capture a footprint. But yet in this example, we have a clear footprint of a boot from a NASA astronaut. Okay, let's go on to the next example. Okay, this example is from Apollo 15, and it's where the two astronauts go out, and it's they're doing some work, collecting some samples, etc. A link to the video from NASA's own website will be placed in the description. Now watch the video clearly and see if you can notice a profound anomaly with this video.
It's in position. Okay, I have the picture. Pushing. Good. I'll push a little more. Yeah. Got a half a tube. Ooh, good. Nice. You got 3/4? Yeah, it feels like it's hung up on a rock. Okay, I got the picture. Go ahead and hammer. Rock. Oh, it's going in. You're getting it. There's a full core. And then you're getting a couple inches of stroke. Very nice. Okay, there's 1.5. Good. Doing good.
Did you catch that? Did you hear that? Yes, that's right. When you listen to the video, you can hear the sound of the hammer, hitting something, okay? There's a sound there. The only problem with this is that space is a vacuum. There's no sound in space. And for the hammer to actually carry that sound wave over to the camera equipment that's capturing the event, is impossible. Okay, there's no way for that sound to carry over unless it's not on the moon. It's not in a vacuum, unless it's on a film stage. Then that's possible because, of course, it's not a vacuum and sound can move through such. So that is highly anomalous in my opinion. Again, just a new avenue of research to look into. And I'd like to thank all you guys for watching. And yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is evidence that perhaps the moon landings were not filmed on the moon? Or do you think that I'm wrong and that these are all just can be explained away? Anyway, be interesting to see what you guys think. And yeah, let me know. And until next time,
stay tuned and subscribe to Esoteric Detective to keep up to date with the strange and unusual. And please give a thumbs up if you liked the video. And do let me know what you think in the comments section. Until next time, keep researching that hidden order behind the visible.